Hello, my name's Carole. This is my channel, So Carole, and you're joining me today out in the garden. The reason that I'm out here is the weather in the UK has not been good at all for the past few weeks, and it was beautifully sunny and still today. So I thought I'd film outside. I hope you don't mind, where it makes a change from being in a sewing room. So hashtag Friday Sews, as we all know, was created by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, who we are forever grateful for, because it's enabled so many sewers and sewists out there to jump onto YouTube and just chat about our most favourite thing in the world to do, whether that be actually sewing or just buying fabric and patterns and whatever. But thank you, Jen. Don't forget to check out all the other hashtag Friday Sews. There are so many new ones out there, and I'm so enjoying watching some new people. This week's Friday Sews contains a lot of sewing. I've had quite a bit of time this week, so I've managed to sew quite a few things. So I'm really pleased about that, because I've ticked loads of things off my list. First of all, I will start off showing you something quite funny that I did this week. So I hadn't had a chance to use my embroidery machine for a long time because I didn't have the right table for it. But since my sewing room's been revamped, I've got the space, so I thought I'd have a go with it again. Now, my daughter Katie absolutely loves Disney Loungefly bags. Those are those little popular rucksacks that you use. She's got quite a few of them now. But what I thought, I bought some of these little cheap tote bags from Hobbycraft, and I thought it would be fun to actually have a go at embroidering on them. So I thought, perfect, I'm going to put a Disney logo on this bag, and I'm going to write Loungefly underneath with the machine. So it's a half an hour program with lots of colour changes, did it all perfectly. Was making a strange noise every now and again, but you know, I just kind of kept my eye on it and it seemed to be going fine. Took it out. Oh, it was just beautiful. So I was really happy with that. Took it out of the frame and I realised that, I'll have to put a picture up, I realised that one of the handles had folded over and is actually stuck in the embroidery. Yeah, you can see it there. So what it had, the handle, so it had embroidered through the handle as well. What do? I felt like crying. I felt like throwing it in the bin because nobody knew I had done it, so no one would ever know. But I thought, come on, I can do this. So I took the handles off and I put new handles on it. So a lot of effort to undo it all. But so what turned out to be, was going to be like a quick little project, turned out to be quite a mammoth effort. But it's made a cute little bag, so I can now give that to her. Honestly, I just easily rectified, but I just kick myself. I did not check that everything was clear under that embroidery frame. I will learn. I'll learn one day, but you have to make these mistakes, don't you? Otherwise you'll never learn. I'm sure you can see that I have a colour piece of fabric here. Thank you so much everybody for commenting and voting on which of the fabrics to use, whether it's the colour fabric or the blue and white fabric, to make this top. So this was New Look 6344, quite an old one now. I've used it quite a bit in the past, but I wanted to make this version here with the sleeves. So I made it out of the colour because so many people said colour, it was crazy. I am really, really happy with it. It's so beautifully bright and it's got some gorgeous colours in there. It was almost like a border print fabric because it did sort of have these different, I'll put a picture up, but it did have sort of, it went in stages what the colours were. So I did cut it completely on a different angle, but what it meant is I could use this greeny bit that seems to appear here, and then I cut the sleeves with the green bit as well. So you've got the sort of less florally bit going down to the big colours at the bottom. I added the tie on the back as I have done before, and I did the opening in the back, but as usual I just put a button on that. I just sew it straight through because you don't need it because of the wide neckline. You are meant to sew down the pleats. but I did initially, and then I found it created like a big gap here, sort of like a big recess, and I really didn't like that. So I undid it all, took out the stitching here, and yeah, created a bit fuller effect so it didn't have that. So yeah, thank you very much everybody. I probably wouldn't have made it without so many people saying go for the colourful one, and I did, and I'm really happy. Thank you. Next on the list to show you was the Gertie blouse, and this is Simplicity 9287. This was a blouse that I saw so lovely with Grace model. She made a beautiful kind of rose version of it, and I hadn't tried a Gertie pattern before, so I thought I'd give it a go. Now I have to say, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship, because I went through stages of really not liking it at all, and it being too big for me, too gappy. Now, as I quite often do, if I'm not getting on with a pattern, I'll go on to pattern review and actually see what other people have said. And a lot of them did say that this front really gaped on them, and it did with me. I've got quite narrow shoulders, and that's probably the reason why. So I had to do a lot of tweaking of this. Also, I made it out of a cotton, and I tend to be like a jersey girl, so cotton for me doesn't feel that comfortable, but I know it will soften with ease with wear. So I made it up. It does look quite pretty on, I will admit. I had to do a lot of altering with it. I had to bring the whole thing up again, about a centimetre, but probably about a centimetre and a half, but I didn't bring it up on the shoulder cap, so I just graded out so the shoulder seam was the same, the arm side was the same. However, the arm side on this is really tiny, and others have said the same, so it isn't me. So I had to cut a bit out of that. Now, it has these wonderful tulip sleeves. Now, because I made the arm side bigger, actually the tulip sleeves was really simple to then put in, because I just made them overlap just a little bit less. So I've still got that effect. So that has eased it tremendously. So yeah, I had to lift it up, adjust the sleeves, and then the back has big long darts. I think there's about 8 darts in this blouse. Now, as I said, I'm not really into wearing very fitted stuff. The darts on the front were nice, but I felt the darts on the back, it was just making it all feel a bit like a straight jacket for me. So I took the darts out in the back just to give it a bit more ease. And yeah, that's fine. So I made it in this very lovely cotton, pretty cotton from Hobbycraft. So yeah, I'm pleased with it. I've got a love-hate relationship with it because it does look nice on, but I just don't feel that comfortable in it. So probably won't go for another Gertie pattern because it just obviously isn't my style. But thanks ever so much, Grace, for recommending it, because it's nice to give something different a go. Now, another make I made this week, and you won't believe it, but I made an indie pattern, the Marlow Cardigan. As you can see, I got the physical pattern for it. I kept seeing lots of these on other YouTube channels. Rachel from the French Sheams has made one. Christine from Gemini Stitches made a couple couple of weeks ago, I think. So I thought I'd give one a go. I did have already some fabric in my stash, which is a really thick knit, and I didn't care what happened to it because I bought it and I washed it, and already the whole, actually you can see very easily in the light, the whole thing pilled. So obviously I washed it completely wrong. So I wasn't too worried about what would happen with it, so I gave it a go. And it has made a really soft, cozy cardigan, I will admit. It's beautifully cozy. It's funny because I actually made it on one of the coldest, horriblest days we'd had in a long time, so I didn't mind sort of trying it on every now and again. Of course, this fabric was a nightmare going through my machine. I knew when it came to doing buttonholes, I didn't stand a chance, and I tried many different techniques. I tried putting sort of interfacing underneath, on the top, all tracing paper, everything, but absolutely no way it would start the buttonhole but just wouldn't move. So I thought what I'm going to have to do is actually do them by hand, and I did in the end. So I'll put a picture up, but I actually sewed a rectangle first with straight stitching, then I split it, and then I did blanket stitch all the way around. So it hasn't made the prettiest little buttonholes, but obviously once the buttons are in, nobody would notice. So that was the only way I could think of to get round the fabric. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It is, bearing in mind I'm 5'2", this comes up very short on me, and it is, obviously I did this version was it is meant to be cropped, but I think if I made it again, and I will make it again, I will lengthen it slightly. There is a longer version with the pockets. I don't want to get involved in that, because all I do, I find, is just fill these pockets with tissues, so which is never a good look. So yeah, I'll make another one again, but I will make it a bit longer. I just want to add that I was warned about it being slightly oversized, so I made a size 0. Now, as you can see, as I say, I'm 5'2", I'm about a size 10, I am certainly not a size 0, but that was the size I made, and I certainly would not want to go any bigger at all, because I think it fits quite nicely, and certainly the sleeves are the right length on me. So yeah, be very warned if you are making this, but I'm really happy. This was the bit of fabric I bought, which is a bit out of my comfort zone, but I really loved the colours on it, and it has made the most wonderful New Look 6216 basic t-shirt. Fantastic pattern. I am really pleased with this, because I've got a nice beige pair of trousers which goes perfectly, and even going into autumn with like a darker green cardigan will be perfect. So yeah, I was really happy with that quick little make, and I did that after the Gertie blouse because I needed something simple. I will just show you what I do on this pattern though. I might have shown you before, but because I am quite narrow shouldered, this is the front pattern piece, and all I have done to bring in that, as you can see, this is the neckline. I pinch in, it's about 1 centimetre pinched in, so it's just bringing this bit in here, and it's literally just sellotaped, and obviously I cut round, follow the angle of the curve, but that's all this needs to stop it from slipping off my shoulders. And I've used that quite often actually with t-shirts. I will just pinch in just a little bit here, and it just seems to bring everything in and not make it so gappy. So that, if you have that problem with this pattern, that is a quick little fix. Just try it, just with just sort of 1 centimetre or something, just bringing it in. Obviously you keep the sleeve the same, so as you can see it's almost like a dart I brought in on the pattern piece. Works a treat, so another very happy result this week. As you can see beside me, I have a box to open. Now I've had this for over a week because I actually forgot to open it last week, so it's been in my sewing room since then. This is my my sewing box, the knit jersey subscription box. So I'm going to open it for you now, as I've been it's quite heavy, so I'm thinking maybe a Ponte or something this month, but let's have a look. Why didn't I open this before? Straight away you can see the fabric. Oh my word. Why? I can't believe I've had this in my room and I haven't opened it. Look at this. Oh, is this me or is this me? Look at this beauty. It's a jersey, cotton jersey. Who is it? Is it a poppy print? It is. Every time I see a cotton jersey and I like it, it's a poppy print. So I've got that, and I've got a coordinating piece as well in this lovely blush pink. Those two go together, and I have to say, pajamas. That's what I'm thinking straight off, and I know everybody will just roll their eyes at me, but yeah. Oh, that is so pretty. So what are they saying? Yeah, we've got some pretty cotton jersey. Oh, they're suggesting trousery, suggesting some patterns here. Glad to see they're all patterns that I've got or have tried before. Jersey dress, a skirt. Yeah, I would say I would use a top. I wouldn't make a dress out of this, and I probably wouldn't use those two fabrics for a dress. For me, they're more kind of night weary colours. This could make a nice t-shirt, but I'm thinking more nightwear, but oh, and a nice roll of Gutem Mariflex thread. Always need this stuff. This is the Gutermann thread that's just got a little bit of stretch in it, so that enables you just to do a straight stitch and not worry about it snapping. So, wow, thank you. That is a real surprise. On Sunday the 30th, that is when we were going to be releasing our results of the Busy Bee Challenge #1. So look out for that video. I'm sorry if I'm bombarding you with videos at the moment, but yeah, that's coming out on Sunday the 30th. I've also been working on my collaboration with Kris from Sew Notes, and we both do Lutterloh patterns every now and again. So we've done a challenge and it'll be coming out in August, but I have actually been working on the top that she chose. And she actually ended up choosing a dress, so I think I got the easy deal on that one. But yeah, I've been working on that this week. What I would really like to do this week, and we've got a holiday coming up at the end of August, and I don't know what the weather's going to be like, and I really need another of these cropped kind of jeans. I have used this about 5 times, this pattern. Now it does say stretch fabrics, and I have used slightly stretchy fabrics this time, but I needed a navy pair, and I have got this navy twill, but it really hasn't. It's got a tiny bit of give in it, but not much stretch at all. So I don't know how I'm going to get on with this. I might make it slightly bigger and see if that helps, but I really do love the shaping of this. So this is one thing I really want to be doing next week, if possible. So on to life. Now, we had a good weekend last weekend. We did a lovely walk on Sunday as the weather was a bit drier, and I'll put some photos in of that. We actually went up to a place about 10 miles from us called Badbury Rings, and it's the site of, I think there were 3 forts there. I think it's been a Roman fort, an Iron Age fort, and a Bronze Age fort. But I'll put the Google image up as well from above, because you can see the 3 exact rings where this fort was, and obviously you've got the ditches. It's an incredible place. It's quite high for us in the area, so we can get quite good view up there. But yeah, so we went there and we did another walk by a river, so I'll put those photos up at the end. If you ever get bored of me putting walk photos up, please let me know. So this week also I'm going to start having the boys, as it's school holidays, on a Thursday all day. Hence I'm filming this actually on a Wednesday. So for the month of August I'm going to cheat a little bit. But the weather forecast for the next few weeks is just rain all the time. So I thought, okay, we're stuck indoors with those 2 boys. They're 6 and 2. How are we going to decide what between the 2 of us, between the 3 of us, what we're going to do? So this is something that my dad made for me many, many years ago. It's a sort of a spinning wheel. And what we used to have it was after dinner, the kids used to spin it to see whether they were on clearing the dishwasher, filling the dishwasher, tidying the lounge. It was like a chores spinning wheel. And I've kept it obviously for a long time. So what I've done, I have changed the pictures on it to decide what the boys will do next. So when they're bored and had enough, rather than have all the toys out, they've got a choice of Lego, Duplo, Play-Doh. You've got cooking. I really hope it doesn't land on cooking. Playmobil. So all the indoor activities. One of them on there is, I don't know if you can see that, but that says Nanny's Choice. Nanny's Choice will be sewing, but I don't think I'll get away with that with the 2 young boys, but that'd be quite a good one. So they can take turns in spinning it and decide, yeah, nearly landed on Nanny's Choice then. So they can take turns, decide what we're going to do. So hopefully that will solve the arguments. This weekend is a very quiet one. Because we're expecting this new baby in the family, we've kind of kept the weekends clear. So I imagine we'll just be here, or we may be visiting a new little one, who knows. So yeah, not much to report for this weekend. I think that's about it for me this week. I also put out a video earlier this week on the tissue cover for the glove box, primarily. So I actually put that video this so long with me to make one of those, and they really don't take long at all. So I'll put the link to the video up here, and have a go. If you haven't seen it already, just have a go with it. It's great fun. One of my viewers actually had the genius idea of quilting, if you've got some scraps, quilting some pieces to actually make it, and that is wonderful, and I'm going to have a go at doing that, just using up those little scraps. We could do them in strips or whatever, but yeah, that would be a really good idea. So thank you very much for suggesting that. So that's it for me this week. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope the weather stays dry, and I hope it's not too warm if you're one of the areas that's been very hot. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye for now.